one of the things that we want to know how to do is how to crop data. And I think it'll be really interesting to crop a portion of New York City and just plot the difference between this original file and a cropped file. So one of the things that you need to know about rasters is that in R, you can't really crop it to an irregular polygon. It almost always has to be a rectangle or square, but you can crop it to the extent of a circle or a polygon, irregular polygon, and then you can mask areas that you're not interested in. So I'll show you what I mean. I know that sounds a bit complicated, but it's very straightforward, and we're going to crop this raster and take a look at the difference. If you've been to, just a random side note, if you've been to New York City, you can see that this patch over here is Central Park. So it's an interesting way to assess the accuracy of this raster. This green spot is all vegetated. It's a beautiful area. Now let's import a shapefile of just a circle in New York City, and we're going to crop this raster to that circle. So we're going to use the SF package, and I'm just going to call it NYC circle. And like we did in the vector module, you need to use stread to import a shapefile. And let's pull open the data folder. So you can see that there are data for New York City, a circle in New York City. And what you want to do is reference this NYC circle.shp. I'm going to copy the entire file name and just put it between some quotations. So let's close this and import this data. So let's just take a quick look at this. We can see that it's a polygon. There's one feature, it's just a circle, and we can see the projection here. It's a world geodetic, and let's plot it. There it is. Very basic, nothing special. We need to crop the raster to this circle, and we're going to use the crop function in the raster library. I'm going to create a variable called NYC cropped. And to use the crop function, it's pretty much just crop. And you reference two things. Number one, the raster that you want to crop, and then the shapefile that you want to crop it to. So we want to use NDVI, and we want to use NYC circle to crop it. So let's run that, and let's plot it. Actually, before we plot it, let's take a look at the actual raster parameters. You'll notice that the extent matches the extent of our circle. So they should be, with a few decimal places, slight rounding error, differences in rounding, but the values, when they have the same number of decimal places, are exactly the same. And let's plot it now. Okay, so here it is. You'll notice that it's still a square, even though our NYC circle is a circle. It's still a rectangle or square, doesn't matter, one of the two. And this is because the raster cannot be cropped to an irregular polygon. We have to mask values that are outside of our polygon in order to quote unquote crop it. So let's go ahead and do the masking. I'm going to create a variable called mask. And when I say mask, what I mean is the values that are outside of this polygon are they're hidden from view. So we want to crop, or we want to mask the NYC cropped raster, and we want to use the NYC circle to dictate which pixels should be hidden. Let's run that. And let's plot the new masked variable. Sorry, let's plot that. Actually, you'll notice that the extent is the same. So even in the NYC masked one, same extent, Same number of pixels, everything is the same. And that's because we're just hiding values, we're not getting rid of them. So let's plot the NYC mask. And there it is. It's been cropped to the circle, and it looks really interesting. Like, it would be really interesting in like a report for school or for work or what have you, but that's essentially how you crop a raster in R.